to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check. Mic check. Waifu, waifu. King Teliano. Is that you?
Re-intro. What's up?
This is episode 290 of Mic Check Waifu, waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu, waifu is where you can get early access to the video version of this podcast. Is where you can get access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, the after stories, where you can get access to the commentary episodes as well as other video form content over on patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu Waifu. Shout out to the Patreon producers, Christian, the archivist, Rob from Dad Needs to Talk podcast, Fear, Glazed Yams, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture, Explicitly, All for One, Matt Mazer, Altor, Monique Williams, Simi Sensei, Frozen, Rob Stone, and last but certainly not least, our guy, T-Money, fingers. Thank y'all so much for producing this and many other episodes of the podcast. We appreciate you. Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu. The anime podcast is brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us for many years. 290, 10 more into the big 300. That's going to be insane. I think no matter what time of the month, I think we should do a live episode for 300 as well. Like,
sounds good to me.
I think that's a brilliant idea. I'm joined by my co-host, my brother Teliano. How you feeling?
It's a good week, bro. Gotta say, been chilling. The kids get smart super fast. But I'm good, bro. I have no complaints so far for this week. How you feeling, bro?
Same, bro. Same. I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm very, very fun week. We did just do a pre-show too. If you're a Patreon supporter at any tier, you get access to the pre-show. We did a pre-show on me and Till arguing about Kingdom Hearts. He loves Kingdom Hearts. I don't. I'm not blinded by the rose-colored glasses anymore of nostalgia. So check out that pre-show over on patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu Waifu. It was a fun conversation. We are doing another thing. Maybe I shouldn't do that yet until we're 100% sure. So we're going to hold off on that. But if you're a Patreon supporter, you already know. So again, check that stuff out. I can't wait. Anyway, this is the reintroduction episode. So every once in a while, we get an influx of new listeners when I look at our stats. A bunch of new people coming in, checking us out. What we're going to try to start doing from now on is trying to hold these yearly so then we can keep up to date with, make sure we're keeping our top 10s updated. So yearly, we're going to try to do our reintroduction episodes. Maybe even sooner, depends on how everything falls, but it just depends on what we're feeling like. But every once in a while, we do a reintroduction episode to get new listeners in to understand who we are as hosts and people and anime watchers, etc. And we just like to, share that with the new people. Sometimes, like, for instance, it's been an entire year since Rob Stone joined our community, and I don't think he's gotten a chance to even have a reintroduction episode. He joined around, actually, this time last year, almost exactly. And he's been a Patreon producer ever since. So
about a week ago.
Yeah, this is a great time for us to just reintroduce ourselves, starts with our top 10s, who we are as people, et cetera, et cetera. But most of you get that as you listen to the podcast, but this is more so for the new folks. And every time we always bring a side topic with that reintroduction episode. So not only are we going to update, maybe even update or change our top 10 anime of all time, but we're also going to bring 3 niche anime that we think nobody have seen. We're also going to share some of the community stuff as well. So we are doing this live, podcast listeners. This is a live episode. Make sure you follow our Twitch, twitch.tv/Mic Check Waifu Waifu, and our YouTube, youtube.com/@Mic Check Waifu Waifu. We're doing this live right now. Join us at the end of every month. We do one live episode. So make sure you be a part of that because we love to have you. We are going to be talking to the chat, but we're going to say their names and say what they said to kind of get so you guys aren't missing out on the conversation at all. So, for example, Crystal. So niche means boy love for me. Got it. So she's going to bring us some boy love anime. We appreciate that. Ked the Process, side note, I'm not sure if y'all saw any of the newer episodes, but I included y'all in my intro, a video intro. Just a small way of saying thank y'all for doing an episode on the pod. Yeah, Chaotic Culture is a fucking phenomenal pod. You didn't need to do that. You do great work on your own, but that's love, and we appreciate that. That's fire. I want to check out that intro. That's super fire. I love that. Yeah, we got quite a few people in the chat with us right now. Dad Needs to Talk is here, one of the producers. He says, yo, new year, new introduction episode. Just showing love early on the podcast. Happy recording to you, bros. We appreciate you. All right, Tel, let's start off with introductions. You want to go first, since I've been talking a lot?
Yeah. Go ahead, drink some water, bro. I know you're thirsty. Goodness gracious. What's up, y'all? I'm King Teliano. You can just call me Teliano. Most people will call me Montel, whatever. You can say whatever you need. But I am the resident Kingdom Hearts fan. He is a hater. But that's my brother Polo. I love him. So you want me to jump into like how we got into anime for the most part?
Just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do.
So I'm a dad. I'm a personal trainer. I'm going to school for software and game development. I'm a husband. I do all kind of stuff. I ain't gonna lie. I have no time. I have time, but I have no time. Yeah. But it's a fulfilling life. We both from Cleveland, but I grew up I came from a different part of Cleveland than Polo, but still kind of same area. I can't say unsuburban, but projectorial areas. But we both elevated since then, and we've come a long way. And we here now. We both live in Texas now, so we live good.
Yeah. See, I'm Polo. I'm a Twitch streamer. Usually, sometimes it's been a while, but I'm usually a Twitch streamer. And a podcast host. That's really all I do. With my brother here, Teliano. Most people call me Polo, but my real name is Tajay. I haven't said that on the podcast probably since episode 1 of the podcast. My real name is Tajay, for those of you who've never known that for 290 episodes. So I just figured I'd share that on this introduction episodes. And I am the resident slice of life guy. I enjoy slice of life anime. I'm very deep on it. And the conversations, I can talk about slice of life literally all day, every day, 24/7. I got an extensive list of slice of life anime under my belt. Funny enough, we were just looking at Anilist and just talking about how cool their stat system is. So if you go to Anilist and you look up your profile, you can see exactly how many total anime you have. And I know this isn't accurate, but it says I have a total of 814 total anime, and my stats are slice of life forward. So so many slice of life anime make up that 814 anime. That's just who I am. I enjoy messy slice of life. I enjoy now shoujo slice of life. Shout out to actually, I think it was Dad Needs to Talk who Dad Needs to Talk to Krista, who got me into shoujo, and I've never looked back since. So that's another genre that I just joined in, and I'm having a good time with. But yeah, that's pretty much who I am. I'm not really a shonen guy. I don't like the super action forward anime. I'm not. Funny enough, I started off with anime watching Dragon Ball Z and that being the only thing I was about. But now it's a lot different from there. Like I don't if you gotta be a really, really good meathead show for me to like it. Like really, really good. So I will be downplaying any action-y, shonen-y fucking show unless it's Demon Slayer. Other than that, that's it. And that's pretty much who I am. So what's your favorite type of anime?
I'm an action adventure person. Yeah. I love that, but I love some kind of like psychological aspect to it where it pushes the mentality a lot. That's why when we first did our top 5s, top 10s anime, like Death Parade was in there because I love the psychological aspect of it. So yeah, I love action adventure, but if you can throw me some craziness with the mind effects in there and how things go, I'm with it. I love it.
Yeah, you down for that?
Yeah, that's
cool.
What about you, Brolo? Other than slice of life, give me something other than slice of life.
That's it, bro. Honestly,
that's it.
I do. Yeah, isekai is both of our favorite too. Like we love a good isekai. even as saturated as that genre is, we do enjoy a good isekai. But let's get into it, Tell. Starting off with our top 10s. Do you want to just name them? Or do you want to just go one by one?
We can just name them because my list isn't changing. It just got reordered.
Reordered? Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Feel free to start.
All right. So my teen romantic comedy Snafu Climax. That's the final season, but I'm going to say the whole series.
Yeah, that's the whole series.
The series as a whole is amazing. That's my number 10. My number 9 would be Sword Art Online Alicization, but really it's just Sword Art Online, obviously. Fire Force, because I can't wait to finish it, and I also think it's just an amazing series.
At number 8.
At number 7, Noragami. It is one of my all-time favorites, and it's a series I constantly find on my mind, always. Made in Abyss is action adventure, and it has that huge psychological effect. Man, I love that one. That is my number 6. Number 5, I put Summertime Rendering. So that moved quite a few spots, actually, from 3rd to 5th.
Oh, moved down. Okay.
Yeah. Then 86 at number 4. No need to explain there. Remake Our Life at number 3. Freerun Beyond Journey's End at number 2. That move. So Remake Our Life and Freerun switched.
Okay.
And then number 1, which has been the same for 3-4 years now, ReZero.
Yeah. Well, of course. For me, my number 10 is Astro Lost in Space. That actually might get switched out as we're doing the show, to be honest. But I digress. Number 9 is Golden Time, still one of my favorite anime of all time. It's messy, it's drama filled, it's one of the best slice of life ever. Number 8 is my teen romantic comedy Snafu series, as same as Tell. Number 7 is Summertime Rendering. Number 6, Grimgar, A Fantasy of Ash. Number 5 is Steins Gate, will forever be Steins Gate. I don't think Steins Gate is ever going to move or leave. Number 4, and this is where it slightly changes up, is 86. It moved from 3 to 4. Number 3 is Freerun, because yes, it moved up from 4 to 3. Number 2 is Clannad. And number 1 is ReZero, obviously. Of course. All right. Feel free to do with that what you will.
If y'all got some number 10s, let us know what they are. Or some top
feel free to drop in your top 10s. I know it's a little spontaneously, Crystal, specifically talking to you. Ked the Pro says he's actually playing through the Kingdom Hearts final remix as we speak. I can't stand those fucking games. That is a bro, man. One day I'm gonna play through it though, just to prove that I was right. If I'm wrong, I'll be wrong though. I'll be wrong. But I think it's because I play so many games. This ain't a gaming podcast. Let me say that. Anyway. Yeah, so that's it. That's my number 10. Now, Kel, what has the potential of mixing up your top 10 anime?
What has the potential to mix it up?
Yeah, so just jump in there. Like, what's on the cusp of being in your top 10?
I mean,
I got one right now.
Yeah, I think that here's the thing. Show like Zenshu, I actually think even a show like Apothecary Diaries, because they have phenomenal episodes every week.
Mine would be Apothecary Diaries.
Yeah,
and the only reason why Apothecary Diaries is like is not there already is because of this current season going on. I want it to be done first before I establish its place, even though I'm sure we're going to get more. But Apothecary Diaries, and then I got one other one that's also very, very close.
What's the other one?
Reincarnated as an Aristocrat. That's one that has impressed me. It's not going to win any animation awards. It's not going to win any great, really just animation awards, because it's really piss poor when it comes to animation for the most part. But the storytelling and the characters and the world is some of the best. And It has a strong chance of knocking out Astro Lost in Space. Both that, but I got a feeling Apothecary Diaries is going to take Astro Lost in Space place easily when season 2 is done.
And see, that's also part of what I was thinking about. And that's why Summertime Rendering got moved to the back. Is because some of those shows that, although I think they're amazing first watches, they are extremely hard to rewatch. Something like Free Rent, I would definitely rewatch, and I feel like a lot of that impact is going to still be there. Summertime Rendering, a lot of the impact there was because of the intrigue, the guessing, what's happening next.
Yeah,
that
the
kind
shock value too.
Yeah, so if I'm not shocked because I already know what's happening, now I'm looking for little details. Let's say I find every little detail, the rewatch value is no longer there. A show like 86, though, there's so much emotional impact there that I'm going to want to rewatch it continuously or over and over once in a while to even continuously love it. That's why, like I said, Remake Our Life has done nothing but make its way further up my top 5, because every time I rewatch it, I'm just more and more enthralled with it.
It's ironic because that's a slice of life. And for my for my top 10, I barely have any. No, that's cap. It's some slice of life there, but it's not predominantly dominated by slice of life, which is interesting. It has 2. That's great. The 3 technically.
Yeah,
it's actually crazy when you think about it. Even though I'm so slice of life forward. Interesting concept, but no, I'm with that though, because I think shows that like can be rewatched does it have a lot of value when it comes to making a top 10. So for example, our number 1 is ReZero. You can watch ReZero 3 different times, and I promise you'll learn something new that you haven't seen before. 3 different times. We have Crystal's top 10, by the way. We can share that here in a minute, but it's crazy. It's crazy. Same thing with Clannad. Like, yeah, every time I watch Clannad, the second time I rewatched, no, the third time I rewatched it was for our review for it. And I'm going to get to our reviews in here in a little bit. But it was the third time we reviewed it. When I watched it, it opened up a whole new world for me because I figured out what it was. And the first 2 times I watched Clannad, I wasn't 100% sure that I completely understand what the overarching story was about, with the puppet and the other world. And I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, but that stuff. But when I watched it that third time, especially with hundreds of anime under my belt at that point, that I was flabbergasted at how good it actually is. Like, on top of being one of the most emotional roller coasters you've ever seen in your life, but watching it with more, I guess context is not the right word, but more experience, I guess, for lack of a better term, would be, made it just that much of a better show. And same with Grimgar and Fantasy and Ash. It's so sad that we're not getting any more of that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I don't think there was anything in my top 10, probably except for Astro Lost in Space, that has that factor that you mentioned that you can't really rewatch again. I think rewatching Astro Lost in Space completely defeats the purpose. I think that's a one and done, and I feel like it's the same with what's the show you mentioned? Summertime Rendering. Yeah. Yep. That's another one where it's like you watch it once and that's all you really need. Yeah. Put your top 10s in the Discord in the forum thread for this episode. Let's go with Crystal's top 10. Her number 10 is Bungo Stray Dogs. Talk about a great action series. That's one of them. Number 9, Fruit Basket. Number 8, Kuroko no Basket. I always make fun of her for that one. Number 7, Moriarty of the Patriot. Number 6, Apothecary Diaries actually made it into her list. Number 5, Free Iwatabi Swim Club. Number 4, World Trigger. Was that? I think I played that game. Isn't that based off of a game? Yeah. Number 3, Snow White with the white. Oh, Snow White with the red hair. That's a great one, actually. I totally forgot about that one. Great slice of life fantasy. Number 2, K, aka K Project. And number 1, Sasaki and Mayano. Is Sasaki and Mayano the boys love? Is that the one that I'm always seeing you talk about?
I thought that was girls, but I could be wrong.
Might be girls. I don't know. One of the two. That's interesting. World Trigger. That's a good anime.
That's the one. She said that's the one.
That's the one.
Boys love.
Yep, that's the one. I appreciate her for that. Yeah.
All right. TK dropped his in no particular order. He said,
that's no fun, TK. That's no fun.
Right. You got to give us at least the top 3 then. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to go from top to bottom. Bunny drop.
The hell is Bunny drop? Yeah.
Okay, look it up for me, brother.
I got you.
Apothecary Diaries, Delicious in Dungeon, Heroic Legend of Arslan, Baka and Test, Code Geass, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, School Babysitters, Mobile Suit Gundam 00, and A Sign of Affection. There's a lot of heat in there. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Interesting. A lot of newer stuff too.
Yeah.
Like Sign of Affection, Full Metal. I was about to say Full Metal. That's not new.
No, I also feel like if I were a little bit newer to Slice of Life, Sign of Affection would have made my top 10. Like, let's say I hadn't watched My Ten Romantic Comedy. The Sign of Affection would be in there because it's a really good one. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would rewatch that one just because it's so wholesome and nice.
Yeah. No, you want to talk about niche. Heroic Legend of Arslan is a very, very niche show. I remember watching that one.
Right.
Enjoy season 1. Season 2, not so much. But he said all of them were 10 out of 10, so I can't rank them. That's why you can rank them. That's exactly why. Which one of those 10 out of 10s would you put number 1? You know, that's interesting though. I do. Baka and Test is interesting. I haven't. Is that? I think I think that's the one I've seen. Yeah. This one, Baka and Test, got so many like alternate specials, and it's actually it is really good though. It is really good. I remember watching that a while ago. That's a good one. All right,
but
feel free.
He got the Apothecary Diaries, like you were mentioning. Adding to your list. He already said it's worthy, just like Crystal. Yes,
same. It's there. It's definitely there. Our top 10s are so like, they're like the anchor to us. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to like, you know?
Yeah. What's funny about top 10 though is that like my top 5, I find it hard to move anything out of that top 5.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. That's what I was trying to say.
I'll move the top 5 around each other, but the 6 to 10, that breaking into the top 5 is like a whole new level.
Yeah, it's very tough to get through the top 5. But I'm so like, one of these days we have to review Golden Time. I know it's a 24 episode season, but just to have as a community all of us watching Golden Time would be special, because it's probably some scenes that you've seen like somewhere on TikTok before of Golden Time that you don't even realize that it's Golden Time. It's just that good. TK Does Nothing says season 2 of Arslan was cut short because of production issues and it ruined the pacing. That's exactly right. The pacing flew off a fucking cliff. I don't know why, or well, you just said why, but it was hard to watch in season 2. But I did enjoy season 1 a lot. I did think it was like one of the better like actiony period pieces that I've watched. It was really, really good.
Crystal, is that Kuroko no Basket you move to the bottom? Cause
yeah, good. It's moving lower and lower. We try to get it out of here.
Crazy.
We trying to get
it's such a good show, bro.
No, I believe it. I believe it. It's just for something about sports anime, I just don't see
it's
making it to my top 10.
He ain't had that jumper like that.
That's
you know what I mean?
Crazy.
We used to be hooping in his driveway. And I'd be out there balling, and Polo would just throw me the assist.
That's cap. It was.
He could relate to Kuroko. He just don't want to. I'm joking.
It was a special place in my heart. It was one of the first ones I watched. That makes sense, Crystal.
There are some good slice of life elements in there that Polo would actually like, but you gotta watch it to get it.
Yeah. If there's ever gonna be a sports in my top 10, it'd be Blue Box.
Or
Haikyuu. Probably.
Haikyuu.
Yeah, Haikyuu is top tier. Anyway, we never even discussed this. What we do every week is we start the show off with normally an episode of the week. We talk about what our favorite episode of that week was, because we are a seasonal anime podcast. We cover seasonal anime that we watch week to week. We give you previews and shows that we think that people aren't going to watch. We try to give love to on this podcast. We do that by giving episodes of the week every week and describing, what we thought about that particular episode. So this week, Tell, what was your episode of the week? Including you, chat. What was your episodes of the week? Whatever you watched.
Well, I'm so very happy that you happened to mention it. Blue Box is my episode of the week. It had a phenomenal episode this week.
Episode of Blue Box this week. Yes.
It was crazy good.
Yes. For those for reference, that was episode 20 of Blue Box that he's mentioning. Very good episode this week. Ooh. This is a tough one for me because it's between two. And because this is our show and we can cheat sometimes, I'm going to cheat. It's between 100 Girlfriends. And that's 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. Uh-huh. And it's between Zenshu again. Zenshu almost got episode of the week again. So those two, I'm going to give both the credit for episodes of the week this week. So, yeah. 100 Girlfriends that really, 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 really love you. That was episode 7 of season 2. It was the most adorable episode ever. It was just so damn cute. The one thing that this show does well, for those of you that don't know, 100 Girlfriends That Really, 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 Really Love You is a satire anime based off of a character, or based off character and caricatures of the tropey rom-com slice of life anime. It's a complete satire show that is full head on, breaking the fourth wall, One Punch Man satire. And that's the kind of comedy that I love for getting to know us as Mic Check Waifu. It is fucking brilliant to me. And this particular episode, the most adorable, like it has the best cast of characters that you could love, even though they're all unironically tropes of rom-com characters. You love them all. And then the main character, just to round out that cast of girlfriends, makes it even better. So honestly, great episode this week. Make sure y'all watch 100 Girlfriends That Really, Really Love You if you love satire anime. If not, then don't waste your time. But if you do, you would love it. They had, not only did they have Dragon Ball Z references again in this episode, but they had a Yamcha Dragon Ball Z reference, which was fucking hilarious. Bro. It was so good. It was so good.
There's only one good Yamcha reference anyway.
Yeah, and it's that one. So funny enough,
TK gave us an update on his top 3. I would love to say my top 3 are Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, number 1, 2, School Babysitters, and 3, Code Geass. I would like to say I never rate Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood in my top 10 because to me it's just like a personal GOAT. So I don't technically rate it anywhere.
Yeah, it's like one of the, it's good. It's great. It's just great. Like one of the best anime of all time, but I can't put it in my top. I just can't. And that's being honest. Like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the best anime of ever. Objectively, subjectively, it can't be in my top 10. That's how I feel about it. Episodes of the week for Crystal, either Honey Lemon Soda or Anyway I'm Falling in Love with You. Oh, is that one with the one girl with all the dudes? Nah, I can't. I think told us about that one at the beginning of the season. That wasn't hidden for me. And TK does nothing, says Honey Lemon Soda or Solo Leveling for him. Interesting. Yeah. Solo Leveling did have a fantastic episode too.
More great episodes, yeah.
I can't wait. It's getting closer.
They give us so much context, bro.
Oh, beautiful context too. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right. Now, to go to what else Mic Check Waifu before we get into our other topic is known for is our reviews. Our reviews are special because we have a very intricate review system. And this is just going to be me personally saying this, but one thing I don't like is I don't like the ability on Anilist to rate an anime before you finished it. That stresses me out. Like if you watch episode 1, why are you able to rate it? I don't think that's fair to the anime because you go watch episode 1 and just mark it as 0% and it drops the entirety of the score, even though it's a conglomerate. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a collective.
Collective. Yeah.
Of scores from everybody, which means it'll be almost hard for just one score to anchor it. But like it does happen, like review bombs and stuff. So I feel like it shouldn't be abeable. But I say all that to say that our reviews, I think, are taken a little bit more seriously because of the system we use. And we use a system to where we rate 5 different categories, 1 through 10 using a 20-point scale. So 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5. and then we take those 5 categories after we rated them, and then we bring them together to an average, and then we take both of our averages and we average those together to give an official Mic Check Waifu score. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up our last review, review scale, and show you exactly what that looks like. I think I still got the do I still have the internet browser capture? I hope I do. If not, it's gonna be completely ruin what I wanted to do here. But if you're watching the video version, you can see it. The categories of what we rated. Last week, right? Last week we rated Roka, the Braves of the Six Flowers, which was a TK recommendation. TK, what did you think of that review? I don't know if you saw it or not. I watched it. I named that episode To Be Different because Tell hates for shows to be different.
I don't know about that.
No, I'm just kidding. That was most of the conversation. It was a pretty dope episode.
I was gonna say I'm surprised Polo didn't say the atypical be usual.
Yeah, it's definitely not atypical be usual, but this is just a look at. You can't really see it because of the way that's set up, but there we go. There we go. So this is a look at our review scale. And the way it works is, as I mentioned, that we take 5 categories and we rate it using that 20-point scale. So last week we rated Roka. And as you can see, the 5 categories are animation, sound design, pacing, plot, and characters. We take a look at these individual categories and we rate them. Unfortunately, Tell gave it the lowest score out of the 2 of us, which is an interesting conversation to have because I just knew he was going to feel the same way I did about the plot, but he was way below that point. But I digress. You say all this to say that we do have a very intricate review on way of reviewing anime, and we take it extremely seriously over here. That's why we don't do it as often as usual. We do one in the middle of every anime season, and we do one at the end of every anime season. We normally take an anime that we are watching currently this season and review it at the end, and then we take one from the community that we review in the middle of the season. So make sure you guys check out all of our review episodes. They're up on our website, miccheckwaifu.com. And if you have trouble going to that website for some reason, because our website hosting is a little strange, just check out our socials, and it's all there. So yeah. Now, Tell, what are some niche anime that you have seen that you don't think nobody have seen that you think people should give a chance to?
All right, brother. All right. So, the first one I want to talk about, and I may have mentioned this to you before, but I haven't mentioned it to many people. It's in that same vein of like Chivalry of a Failed Knight. Came out around the same time. But I actually don't think I recently rewatched it, and I don't think it's actually as bad as like what I thought initially. The average score it has is a 66%, but it's The Unbreakable Machine Doll. It is.
I do remember you mentioning that.
At very school. He goes to school, and it's a tournament arc kind of anime. So the whole thing is like essentially this tournament arc, and it gets to the same point that Chivalry of a Failed Knight gets to, where they have to go to this big tournament in the end, and then it kind of ends there. It doesn't get a season 2, but it is a very like unique show in the idea of how they kind of handle things with these machine dolls, and it goes in. Funny enough, it kind of has this atypical moment where you start off thinking this is just going to be straight battle, but then it goes into detective mode and to kind of figuring out what's happening around campus and whatnot. But I do think it's actually a relatively interesting show. I don't think a 66 is wrong, but I do think that it could get more love. It's something that I feel like definitely is an interesting show, and was a relatively unique idea in how it was used or utilized.
So if you forgive me for going a little bit more modern with this for one of these,
Go ahead.
I think this show definitely deserves some more love, and it's a newer show. This came out March of 2024, so it's relatively soon. But when I watched it, I'm like, this is a very unique way of doing the isekai, right? And what it is it's Sasaki and Peeps.
Yeah.
Sasaki and Peeps has a 67 on Anilist, but it's much better than that score would suggest. A great cast of characters, a very interesting and unique story when it comes to like the isekai, right? Because this is a guy that can go between two different worlds. So his real world and this other world. And it is such a fun and unique tale that I think didn't get enough love when it came out, even though I feel like I was singing his praises on the podcast quite a bit when it dropped. So I think Sasaki and Peeps deserves some love there for me personally.
A little bit of irony for what you just said is that I literally looked at Sasaki and Peeps and thought about putting it on my list here.
You didn't watch it?
No, I thought about putting it on my. I know I watched it. I thought about putting it on my list for niche anime that people.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I actually thought about that because it to me it seemed like one of those that might hit the list. But my other one is actually relatively recent as well. Last couple years, it came out October 1st, 2023. Overtake. I feel like it was amazing. One of the better stories told in a sports-esque anime. I feel like Overtake just really was overlooked. It was so good and good. It was so good to me, and it got better over time. And I even think there was parts I was relatively harsh on it, thinking I was expecting something different. But looking at it contextually and how it was trying to develop what was happening within the story, it was actually really good. Overtake has a 74% average score. And I actually think that's very deserving. I think it's very deserving of that. And it had a great story element going there.
Yeah, Overtake was one that I was surprised that I enjoyed as much as I did even. Was I? Yeah, because there's something about formula racing that I'm just not really into. I love racing anime though. I love racing games, all of that. I'm a big fan of those. But something about formula that I just wasn't into. Overtake is the formula one, right?
Yeah. And I think when we were watching it though, you were more into Overtake than I was, because I think Overtake and the new Initial D came out like almost simultaneously.
Yeah, MF Ghost.
And you were saying that you liked Overtake because it didn't lean so heavily into the racing. It was more of that story oriented, and you were rocking with it more at the time than I was. But after, like I said, going back, reviewing a couple episodes and saying, you know what, yeah, Overtake does deserve a little bit more love.
Let's take a break real quick before I go into my next one. Let's bring up what TK says. He says, very insightful reviews from you both. Y'all brought up things that I didn't realize at first. I like the debate that emerged during the review. My own rewatch of this show changed my own rating. Oh, interesting. So what did you end up rating? Please let us know what you end up rating, because I would love to have that. Absolutely love to have that. All right. So another one that I would like to add to the niche anime list that I think people should watch. Let me just check. She hasn't. What? This blows my mind if this is true. Let me just make sure this is true. Crystal, you never watched this? This is a show that came out in 2021 that when I watched it, I talked about so much, so very much. But that's The Duke of Death and His Maid. This show is unique in this, as far as its animation goes. It got like this CGI, like 3D thing going to it. When I tell you, the story just completed recently too. Both it has a dubbed and it has a sub that is both absolutely phenomenal. Very creative looking show. Duke of Death and His Maid it could have been in my top 10. This is another one that's like 14 in my top 15. Like, it's just that good. Duke of Death and His Maid. Such a fantastic story. It's about a guy who was cursed at a very young age. I'll make sure I didn't hit up anything. He was cursed by a witch, and he was cursed at like age 7. And it's whatever he touched with his bare hand, or whatever he touched, period, died instantly. Like, and he's been sent away to live in the family's other mansion with a maid. And this maid is the only person that's there with him, and a butler. He's one butler, one maid, and him living in this mansion all by themselves. because he's not allowed to be near the family or near anybody else for that matter, because whatever he touches dies. And that story that ensues between these characters, phenomenal. I mean, the whole cast. It's not just the Duke of it's not just the Duke of Death and his maid, but the entirety of the cast is some of the most likable characters that I've ever seen in a slice of life, to be honest.
Well, so I did mean to watch that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I
did mean to watch
it's
that.
So good.
I will watch it, and since it just finished, I might just binge it.
Yeah.
But TK does nothing said. My original rating was a 9 out of 10 or 9.0, and the rewatch rating is a 7.5, giving the show an average rating of an 8.25. Which actually, hear me out. I think that's dope that he's averaging out their own score. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're averaging out what you first watch and now the context of the second watch. I actually think that's really solid. Did you use our review scale for that, or how did you kind of break that down, if you don't mind me asking? But I do think, hey, that's solid. I mean, the 7.5 is closer to what I think is getting on Anilist. Yeah. I think, were you a little lower than that? I think you were a little
7.1. Yeah, 7.1. But
yeah. But either way, it's right in the ballpark of, I think, where the average score is anyway. So I do think that comes out pretty solid.
All right. What's your third and final niche anime?
My third one is one that I watched before we ever did the podcast, and that I wanted to speak the praises of and constantly talk about. I don't think Polo watched it. Let me see real quick. Oh, it does say Polo completed it. Kato, the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
I love this anime, and it is one that I always think about. I sit down and I'm just like, man, this one was one of those, like, I'm a person who has always been into like historical context, and Polo understands that about me as well. Yeah. But also, I do a lot of mythology. Like, I'm literally in a mythology class right now, and Kato, the right answer, fits into this mythology class, and that's kind of what made me think about this specific topic. Was that I'm in this mythology class about story writing and how to write stories, and there is a lot of things that Kato, the right answer, did that story writing wise that story writers are taught to do. It did. Did it pay off for it? That doesn't always happen specifically in that way.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do think what they started with, the precedents that they set, the idea that they set with the show, and what I was seeing when I first turned it on. Like, when I first watched it, probably up until episode 9, I was like, this show is like a 9 out of 10 for me. But once you get to episode 3, those last few, or not episode 3, episode 10 into episode 13, I felt like those are basically flops. And if it's a quarter of your show is a flop, it's a flop. So, and I'm not gonna say if a quarter of a show is a flop, but it's at 25%. So I mean, if you lose 25% off 4 episodes, that's pretty bad. Yeah. But I do think that it's a show that not necessarily the entirety of the show deserves praise, but the idea, the context, what the story is trying to provide before it gets to that climax, I think that is what deserves so much love and admiration from this show, because I think that setup from the show is amazing, and I wish that there were more psychological shows that approached a setup like this.
I actually like that one actually being one. Now I'm gonna go slice of life here, and this is one that this got terrible ratings. Okay, it may be right. No, you know what? I'm not gonna go with that one. Because that one is just, you gotta be in a very select mindset to watch that one. So I'm gonna go with the one I was originally going to go with, and this is probably cheating, because I know this is maybe a popular show. It came out during a popular time, but I still feel like it doesn't get enough love, and I think Gov Pancakes is going to appreciate this one. But this is one of my favorite isekais of all times. Y'all know what I'm about to say. Maybe it's not that niche because it got 3 seasons.
Here we go.
But
I'm gonna type it with you.
I'm gonna cheat, and I'm gonna go ahead and say Log Horizon.
Of course.
I just think this is one of the better isekais out there, and I know it's not that niche, but it just I have to talk about it any chance I get. When I get that chance, Log Horizon is goated as one of my favorite isekais ever. Top 3 isekais ever for sure.
Can I say something?
Yes.
That is love.
Yeah, I gotta give it love. I gotta give it
love that show. And I feel like you just talked about that show last week or the week before.
I did. I did. It's just I can't not talk about it, especially when it comes to niche, because okay, it's not that niche. It's an isekai, but
yeah,
it was like it was. I feel it's always tucked in the corner. Like the visual I have when it comes to like this particular show is it came out around the time of Sword Art when Sword Art blew the fuck up, and it just absolutely took off. And then you just got a bunch of them over and over and over again. And Log Horizon was always right there in the corner that I just feel like did not get a chance to get his just dues.
Yeah. And
here we are on Mic Check Waifu 5 years later.
But that's also another really cool aspect of it, right? Like you think about it, anime that deserve love today, right? Didn't Doc Hack just get a game like a few years ago, like another remake game or something a few years ago?
They got I think it's called Recode or something like that, where they remade all three, well, not remade, but put all 3 of them in one bundle together.
Right. Which is fire. So it's like they get a re-release, but it's like Dot Hack is a show that does deserve love still, but because a lot of anime people or a lot of people are watching anime, there's a lot of new people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of people are never going to hear of Dot Hack or something that we would have thought was like common sense back then. A lot of people aren't going to hear about it, just like Log Horizon. It gets overlooked because the times it gets oversaturated and overseen by 1,000 anime a year. You know what I mean?
That's true. Big true. It's fun though. It's a great show. Has anybody? TK Does Nothing said Log Horizon is amazing. I need to finish season 3. I think I always say this, and I think I said this last time I talked about Log Horizon, but I think it's time for me to rewatch it again. I think I might do it.
Let me know when you do. I'm gonna watch it with you.
Please do. Oh, that'd be so much fun. It's 3 seasons. Let me know when you do it,
because then we'll rate it.
Oh, you want to do it like that? The entire series, just whenever we get done with it, and we just do that episode.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, fuck it, we're doing it then. I rewatched Log Horizon. God, I love this show so much. I'm so excited. I really am. I really truly am. I do love that show so much. All right. Anybody else got some niche anime they want to bring up? Give some love to. Let's see here. Any modern anime? I'm gonna give you one modern anime I think that could use some love too. What's one that we just watched recently that you think is in that category as well? Besides,
Crystal said in the Discord.
Oh, in the Discord? Oh, yeah, I got to make sure I check that Discord. I got to remember that I use Discord when we were recording on a vertical monitor on this side, and then on my browser, I use this one, so I got to make sure I check here. Oh, here we go. TK Does Nothing got some niche anime. He says, welcome to the ballroom, number 3. Welcome to the ballroom, I think I've watched. I got to double check my Anilist to see if I have. Heroic Legend of Arslan. That is one, and I mentioned that at the beginning of this podcast. That is definitely one that is very, very niche. Niche anime, I went with Super Wholesome. Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence. This was recent, right, Crystal? This just came out. I was about to say Yakuza Fiance. Her number 2 is Yakuza Family's 4 Sons.
Yakuza Fiance would have been wild.
It would have been crazy. And number 1 is Akabe's Sailor Uniform. I think I've heard of this one too.
Okay, let's see what it's here for.
I think Crystal mentioned it quite a bit, being in her like episode of the week, I think, at one point.
Akabe Sailor Uniform.
Oh no, this is 2022. Yep. I do remember somebody talking about this though. It was probably her. Wow. A couple of people on my friends list dropped it. You know what? 75. Cute girls doing cute things. I'm adding it to the list.
Animation looks insane though. I ain't gonna lie. It looks like that's what they said. Animation does look actually insane.
I'm gonna add that to my list. And then the Saint Cecilia one. Why haven't we mentioned
Akabe's Cloverworks.
why haven't we mentioned tell Crystal, you would know. What's that show where the dude get isekai and he's a doctor? You know, y'all know what we talking.
He's a doctor?
He's a doctor. He get isekai and he's like saving this old fashioned place. I'm sad this is watching too because I haven't seen this one. What is that called, man? It was so good when we watched it. Yeah, the dude got white hair. I think the pharmacist isekai. Yes, TK. What was that called? Was that called what was that called? Something.
Not reincarnated as a. No, hold on. What was it? I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember what it's called either.
But I do know what you're talking about. I just can't get the name right now.
Pharmacist in Another World or some shit like that. I don't know. Somebody will say it. I can't remember the goddamn one. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Name must have been one of those long, hard names, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Parallel World Pharmacy.
Parallel World Pharmacy. That's what it was called. Parallel World Pharmacy. Yep, that's it.
Was that it? I thought okay.
That is it.
I was thinking about something different, but all right, that is it. I remember that one clearly.
A very, very niche one too that didn't get any love. That was spectacular. I think we were the only people singing the praises. Like our community was the only one singing his praises on that one. Like that one was special.
Yeah, we loved that one. I love that one.
That one was spectacular. All right, so what we okay. Another thing with the podcast is that the second half of the show, after a music break and after we ask a question and you get to know us a little bit more, we go into spoiler talk. Spoiler talk is after a song break. So if you are trying to catch up with some of the weekly shows that we are watching or you're not caught up with, you can always turn the podcast off after the song and then come back to those episodes when you do have that chance. That's why I unintentionally, and it feels wrong to say this, but looking at our numbers, it always feels like we're cheating. Because there's episodes that are like from 2 years ago that still get crazy plays because people are going back to to spoiler talks of certain shows. So it kind of feels like we double dipping a little bit unintentionally, but that's kind of how it works. Parallel World Pharmacy, yeah. Oh God, it was so good. He had blonde hair, not white hair. I don't know why I said white hair. Anyway, yeah. So let's while Tell figure out what we spoiling, let's get to know Mic Check Waifu. This is part of the podcast where we roll a random number generator. Let us know what y'all want us to spoil, Crystal, TK, Kat, anybody in the chat. This is part of the podcast where you get to know us, even though you've been doing that this entire time, where we roll a random number generator and ask a question associated with that number. It's my turn to read the question, and it's Tell's turn to roll the random number generator.
All right. Let's do. Why they do negative? Ain't nobody doing no negatives.
Oh, last week's break song is gonna be this week's break song because I forgot to change it out in my OBS. So sorry about that.
Number 4.
Number 4 is what genre of anime do you enjoy the most?
We literally answered that already today.
yeah.
Let's do 78.
Okay. What's your favorite anime based on a book or a novel?
Now we could say ReZero since it's a light novel.
It is based off a light novel, but neither one. Oh, I read book 1 and 2. I think I have here. No, I think I have up to 5 here, like right over there.
So I'm gonna take this time to spread the gospel.
Quite literally, huh?
Twin Star Exorcist.
Okay. There you go.
A phenomenal series. Phenomenal. I need to do a whole manga review. I need to review the manga. Twin Star Exorcist, phenomenal manga.
The question was best anime based off of a book or a novel.
Well, I was saying comic book, but
Best
the
anime based off of.
Right, the anime is trash.
Yeah. I know you wouldn't. I know you didn't mean that one. That's why I didn't want to set you on that path for either the archivist to correct you, like, yo, hey, you didn't like that anime.
That anime is garbage. My favorite manga has the worst anime ever.
I'm gonna go with. I mean, for me, is quite easy, and maybe it's recency bias, but Solo Leveling. I mean, that's one that I read all the way through, and then I'm watching now currently. I'm loving the way it's playing out, even though it's very truncated. It's like so truncated to the point where we're missing entire conversations and even arcs. But the way they did it is so tasteful that I can handle it. I can handle it. So we do have what we're going to spoil. We're going to spoil Solo Leveling, which was episode. I want to try to remember to keep the episode in there. Episode 8 of Solo Leveling. We're going to spoil episode 7 of Honey Lemon Soda, and we're going to spoil episode 7 of season 2 of Apothecary Diaries. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to quench our thirst, use the bathroom, get up, stretch our legs and our arms, and we're going to come back and spoil our 3 songs, or those 3 shows. If you haven't seen those 3 shows this season, make sure you come back, subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Twitch, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all for doing that. We love you. We'll see y'all next episode, next week. So, but we're going to take a quick break and we're going to spoil those 3. We'll be right back after these. Maybe.
a person that's not. Don't allow them to have that much control over you to where you're not happy or you can't do what it is that you want to do.
And welcome back to episode 290 of Mic Check Waifu. We appreciate y'all for. Oh shit! Caught that live. I ain't cutting it out. I can't cut it out. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Thank y'all so much for watching. I still got to upload the pre-show to Patreon. Remember, if you're a Patreon supporter at $1 or above, you get access to that pre-show. If you do have access to Spotify, is your Patreon connected to your Spotify, Crystal? Let me know. Because I think you got access to the video versions on of everything there. But just let me know. Link your Patreon to your Spotify so you can get access to all of the pre-shows in video form or in podcast form. So make sure y'all check that out. That conversation that we had about Final Fantasy was hilarious. So I think y'all should watch it. I promise y'all, when me and Tel discuss video games and it sounds like we're getting heated, we never get heated at each other ever. I don't think we've ever been heated at each other ever once in our lives, by the way.
Never seriously.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened seriously. That's crazy.
Funny enough, Polo and I are more likely to, if we disagree, we're more likely to disagree in a more amicable way than anybody else. It's crazy because we've been in my basement.
Oh my God, discussing everything.
And what's funny enough is that Polo and I would actually be on the same side most of those debates, and everybody else looking at us like, okay.
What do y'all do? Man, it's so crazy because it's like the 7th grade. You think about it. We've been cool since the 7th grade. We are 33 and 32 respectively now. Like, that is insane. How old were we in the 7th grade? 13?
12,
13?
Yeah, 12, 13. Mad young.
Jesus. That's insane. Anyway, we're about to spoil. Welcome to the spoiler half of the show. Let me find spoiler talk. Boom. It says Honey Lemon Soda here, but we're going to start off with that. We're going to start off with Solo Leveling. Episode 8? Season 2?
Yes. So episode 8, season 2, Solo Leveling is on Crunchyroll. Oh, brother. Solo Leveling, it makes life too easy.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay. This one, I wasn't expecting this one to play out like this. What I do love is that they included both the Juju Island and the tower diving at once, because they could have been completely separate from how it was in a book. Like I think it was the amp conversations and stuff first, and then the tower stuff. But either way, however it was, interweaving it in between the tower was great, I thought, personally. And
that's what I was going to say. I think they did a great job of the parallel play of those two scenarios. They basically set it up so that they're happening side by side,
simultaneously,
almost setting the precedence that once Jinwoo is done, he's going to come out. We know what's going to happen, but it's like he's going to hop to that situation next. Right. And they set it up perfectly to, it's in your mind, but we're going to show you this epic scene before you get there. Yes.
We also got the actual best girl of Solo Leveling for real, which was the demon. She's phenomenal. She looked a lot better, and the one thing I will say about this, she looked a lot better in the art of the manhwa than the anime. Even though the anime's animation, nothing wrong with it, right? And the character design is nothing wrong with it at all. I just think the design of the character, it being that sharper manhwa look, just looks better than it did in the anime form. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the motion removed some of the sharpness in a sense.
Yeah. So she did look a lot better in the manhwa, but she still was absolutely adorable, even though she's a bad guy technically.
Kinda,
yeah. I mean,
can't
kinda,
be
but
bad
not
guy if
really.
you can't win.
Yeah, exactly. But what I love about this too is that, and people always say this, Solo Leveling is just about the hands. It doesn't have any story. It does. It always has. It's always interwoven deeply within the background of it, and it's always been about the system. That system, something. What is the system? We don't know. I'm not gonna go into full spoilers because that'll be mama talk. But like that getting that piece of information that Jin got this episode was a major push forward to the overarching story of what Solo Leveling actually is and this overarching world. And I thought that was extremely obviously well done and well executed, because it's just not about the hands, even though that is a prominent part of Solo Leveling. It's still got that interwoven piece that is always lingering in the background.
Yep. And TK Does Nothing said, would I be wrong for comparing what's going on with Jeju Island to the Chimera Ant arc of Hunter x Hunter?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because the one thing about
it's 100 episodes shorter.
It's literally going to be about 120 something episodes shorter. And it's also going to be streamlined, right? Like it's just it's everybody setting a plan in motion to get everything accomplished. With the Ant arc, it was just people like almost virtually giving up. Really, and when you really think about it, because it was like nothing they could do. How come every time somebody bring up that arc, it always end up with us sounding like we hate Hunter x Hunter? We don't hate Hunter x Hunter.
It has some of the best moments in Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, it does have some of the best moments in Hunter x Hunter. We don't hate Hunter x Hunter at all, by the way.
Personal favorite moment in Hunter x Hunter is Miriam and that little girl playing Shogi.
Yeah, Shogi.
I love that. I love it. It's such a good character developmental moment. But I would say no and yes, because like the ants are similar, but it's not the same context. Like they're not even on the same like realm or plane in terms of like how they're going to impact the story, so to speak.
Yeah. Are the ants stronger in Solo Leveling than they are in the Ant arc in Hunter x Hunter?
I mean, I would say Miriam maybe, but not all of them.
I say yeah. Because you got to think. I can't say that without going into spoilers, huh? So they say
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Miriam maybe because Miriam was a planetary threat.
Okay, so let me just say something that was in the anime. Okay, that it won't be spoilers. I don't think the ants are A tier. They equal an A tier hunter. You know how they feel. This show spent a lot of time talking about how powerful A tier hunters are, because A tier is right before S. Obviously, A tier hunters are demons. So you can only be in the hunter organization as if you were A tier. Like they're demons. So ants that can fly, all A tier, would mollywop literally, I think, everyone except for Miriam.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though.
But then,
that's what I'm saying.
Yes, yeah. But then it's like you have a number.
Miriam alone, he required the strongest of the strong, essentially.
Exactly.
But I do think that when you look at,
don't do it.
If you look at what we will be seeing, then yes, it will be.
There you go. Well said.
A character on Miriam's level very quickly.
Probably stronger. Probably stronger. Yeah.
Jeez, we almost there.
We almost there.
Hey, TK says I deeply dislike the Chimera Ant art, but I still like Hunter x Hunter overall. Okay, so I
so you feel the way we do. Good.
I did not want to bash Hunter x Hunter because I know people love it.
Yeah, we feel the same way you do. The Ant arc was kind of me too, Crystal. Us too. She says I can't wait for what comes next in Solo. I wish I could say same. TK, what TK said though, like I just that Ant arc was overall what we always say. Tell if 75% of your anime is garbage, then that means it's garbage. Now I'm not saying 25% of the Ant arc fire. But 25% of 100 something episodes, does that make the entire arc good? Absolutely not. So that's all that we were trying to state when it comes to the arc of Hunter x Hunter. I know we have a lot of Hunter x Hunter fans that listen to the podcast. Sorry, forgive us. I know y'all probably
I remember Steve loved Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. Y'all probably turned it off at the point, but yeah, Juju Island. Ants have the potential to be a planetary threat. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why South Korea called in the Hunters for help. Yeah, they had that whole conversation with Japan bringing all these hunters. It's gonna be so cool. I just wish we could talk about all of it, and
maybe when the season's done.
Nah, I mean, maybe we do a Patreon exclusive episode or something, like a spoiler. Just of what we're excited for when the season's done. Yeah, I think we should do that. I think we should do that because that's a big deal. Like what's coming is just so good. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be so good.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry live.
Another favorite part of this episode though was watching him fight the Demon Monarch though.
Yeah,
that was insane, bruh. That was insane. And if it wasn't for Best Girl, he wouldn't be here probably. Would y'all agree?
I mean, yes, right. But also like,
how would he have survived that otherwise? Yeah.
But it's also like I hate to say it's the way that the last move happened, so to speak, right? It shows that he had more in the tank, but he needed that one split second to make, and I think that's what makes it,
brother.
like, it's the same thing in like an actual fight, right? I was just talking to Polo about, is he gonna watch the boxing match, right? It's the same thing in a real life fight. Anything could happen. You could be better 100% of the time, but you only need 1 second to lose a fight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That 1 second can turn the whole fight. And it turns out that while Jinwoo can land the final blow, just like Baron can land the final blow, they needed something to set a difference or set a precedence of who is going to win in that specific moment. And that's what she was there for. She set that up. And it while it happened, it's beautiful, but we know that Jinwoo ain't gonna have to worry about that. Never mind.
Yeah, no, he would have lost though. That could have been the end of Solo Leveling right there. So this is something that's interesting. They say that there was a quote going around from the creator of Solo Leveling saying that Solo Leveling was just a prelude to what's to come.
Right.
So I need to pick back up on Ragnarok and continue reading from there, because apparently it's a whole lot more left in the tank of the world of Solo Leveling.
And that means that I got to start reading again too.
Yeah. Did you ever pick up T-Bait?
No.
This next, I didn't tell. I fucked up, bro. I apologize. I just want to formally apologize to you now. I fucked up by reading it because next anime season is when T-Bait season 1 drops.
Yeah, I meant to read that. I left it open too, and I gotta get that.
I feel like a complete dingleberry, because if I would have known you were not, like, it was something that soon, I wouldn't have read it either. I would have just much rather watched it. Definitely much rather watched it than read what I read. But Crystal says, I thought there was a sequel too. I could be wrong. No, there is a sequel. Ragnarok is technically is the sequel, and it says a bunch of more left. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. All right, what's next on our list, Del?
You want to hit Honey Lemon Soda or Apothecary Diaries?
Honey Lemon Soda.
All right, Honey Lemon Soda. Okay, so we know the show is gorgeous. Let's get that out the way.
That's true. All right. I gotta remember what happened this episode.
Oh no, we got some details this episode.
Serena,
we found out a little bit of we got some context with her.
Oh, I do remember. Okay, yeah.
But the context being that Mayura, he pulled up on her the same way essentially.
Yeah, what did you think about that, by the way? What did y'all think about that too in the chat? What did you think about him basically doing the same thing he's doing with our girl, with Serena? We'll call her Serena.
I think it's a very pull on tail ass action.
Man,
And my wife said the same exact thing.
that's true.
I do think it's something that middle school pull on tail would have did.
For sure. But like the same way to the two different girls.
No, I mean probably not the same way, but so I think that the idea being that he can't see someone going through something that like that, you know what I mean? And especially knowing the fact that it's not that. So, and I would say they're kind of different in a sense. One person, Serena, so to speak, was being bullied for almost an entirely different reason, while Yuka is being bullied because she can't get out of her own head. You know what I mean? She can't bring herself to. She's trying to be normal, but she can't bring herself to be normal, so to speak. You know what I mean? And not feeling comfortable with herself. So I do think that they are kind of different reasons, same approach. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Lacking that confidence is a big deal.
Right.
Unironically, I've lacked that too in my high school and junior high school life too. Like I lacked, but I wasn't at the self-deprecating level of confidence. It wasn't there.
What Polo misunderstands about confidence is that he says that he lacked confidence. He didn't lack it outwardly. No one would have ever known he lacked confidence. But I would know because he talked to me.
Yeah.
But these characters, right? So let's say, for instance, Serena did not lack outward confidence because of her appearance. People looked at her and appeared she did not seem lower or less than because of her confidence. Internally, she lacked confidence.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It's the same concept. If it was for anybody other than himself, Polo had a ton of confidence.
TK does nothing says Mira has the type. He's a fixer, for lack of a better term. Yeah, he's a fixer, and that is a huge like. It's a double-edged sword, right? Because now you're now putting in this exact situation while we don't quite completely understand the full situation yet, but we got some glimpses of it, right? So Serena said they were together, but because word was going around that she relied on him and she felt like she couldn't be alone without him, that she determined that they weren't good together, which was stupid, by the way, which was completely wrong than anything that we've said in our Discord on Honey Minnesota's forum thread, by the way, which, you know, it's a lot of fun discussions over there. Join our Discord, discord.mycheckwifewaifu.com, or the link is in the panel or in the description of the video. But yeah, I feel like that moment opened up my eyes into this. And then the conversation that both Serena and Yuka had together, where Serena was telling her, like, I understand that you like him, which was so cool, by the way. Like, I understand that you like him too, and I'm trying not to be in the way of that, which was so sweet, which is just so sweet. She's not trying to be in the way of Yuka and Mira thing that they got going on, but she does still have feelings towards Miru, yellow-haired Blondie, is what Crystal calls him. So I'm gonna call him Blondie. So yeah, like it was a brilliant episode. It really was.
What I keep getting drawn back to is the previous episode when Miura is talking to his friend and he says, "I take it back."
Yep, I want it. This is what I want. Pretty much the same. Right? He wants you.
Is he saying that he wants this as a? He's saying that he wants this as a relationship, though. You know what I mean? Is that what he's saying? Is that what the context that we're taking it as?
That's a good point.
Because that's kind of how I took it. I just didn't know if I'm reading into it properly, right? And this episode kind of shows a continuation of that. You know what I mean? He's intentional with his hand placement. Even in that episode previously, he grabs her hand. In this episode, he grabs her hand this time and says, "If you don't want to hold my hand, shake from me, shake free from me." And I'm like, ugh. I'm like, all right, bro. I mean, so what? You gonna force her to hold your hand until she say nah? Like, cause it's not like he's saying, I'm gonna make you hold my hand. He's saying, if you don't want to do this, break free, and I'm not gonna fight it. More or less, the context I'm getting.
Because how else is progress gonna happen?
Right, she's got to speak up.
She got to speak up, yeah. And until she does, it's nothing gonna happen. It's just like the conversation me and Crystal had in the Discord about my happy marriage. It's like I'm so fucking tired of Mio and just and tiptoeing around every fucking thing that's happening instead of just outwardly saying, "Listen, I want to be with you forever too." While he's out here openly expressing how he feels about her, she's not reciprocating that. It's pissing me off. It's driving me up a fucking wall. I'm going crazy.
The confidence.
I'm about to go antagonist on my happy marriage. I can't. It's pissing me off so much because I like the show, but it's pissing me off. Anyway, back to Honey Lemon Soda. I agree with everything you said about the way he's approaching this now. How will this develop forward when it comes to the relationship, since they both confess that they both love him? And Crystal said that he loves her. I'm not going to accept nothing less, and I feel her on that. But how do you think it's going to progress between Yuka, Serena, and Blondie? Do you think it's actually going to progress into them becoming a couple now? Or is she going to say it next episode, maybe?
Yeah, I almost feel like this has to present a conflict, so to speak, right? And I say that because let's say Serena has gained her confidence now for this specific scenario. I almost foresee a blue box situation where the two main women or protagonists are going to be going for Miura. So I kind of foresee that. And it will be a developmental phase for Yuka because she still has to speak up for what she wants.
Yeah, but
and she has to tell him.
Yeah. So what you saying that though? Serena's going to tell him. He's going to deny her because he has eyes for Yuka. So that's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, Crystal says Serena is fully aware that Blondie likes our shy girl though.
Yeah, so Serena's just supposed to sit around and not be in love with who she loves. She's supposed to not try and win him over. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm not even saying per se that she's going to be upfront with it, but she said specifically, "I'm going to stop tiptoeing around your emotions now." I'm not saying that she's going to be messy per se or mean, but she said, "I'm not going to tiptoe around your emotions," which as a friend, she should not be tiptoeing around her friend's emotions. But if they both love the same person, they're both interested in the same person, why not say what you feel, especially since y'all both already have it out there, out in the open?
What if TK doesn't have to say, I think that this is the first time Kai, aka Blondie, has actually cared about a girl as opposed to just trying to fix or save her or be her protector essentially. Now that's interesting, TK. I didn't even really think about it like that because maybe he just helped Serena and it turned into a relationship. But then this time he's actually falling for Yuka, different than just being that protector.
And I'm going to call cap on that.
Interesting.
And
okay.
I'm going to call cap because in this episode, they showed Miura leaning into Serena to give her a kiss.
What? What?
Yeah.
That was a flat. Oh, you talk about the flashback.
This is not the first time.
The flashback, Crystal.
Not the first time. He leaned in
to kiss
Serena.
He took initiative though, so he did like her too.
Yes.
So that can't be forgotten, TK. That slipped your mind just like it slipped mine, just like it slipped Crystal's probably. I forgot about that. He did like Serena for real. So it wasn't to trying to just fix or save her. It was a like situation. But we don't know the full story, but we assume that she broke up with him because she was self-reliant or not self-reliant, but too reliant on him. Interesting. I forgot about that whole kiss part. I completely erased it from my mind because I didn't want to see him doing it to anybody else but Yuka. That's crazy. Wow. That just blew my fucking mind wide open. I'm waiting for the chat to respond. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, I do think this is tough, man.
It is tough.
Now that you mentioned that, it completely threw my head for a loop because now I was thinking what TK was thinking. Because maybe he didn't really like Serena, but he wanted to protect her. But now that I know he did, is this going to mean that she has a chance still?
And
right?
It's not even that. Like, I don't think that she particularly has a chance, right? That's not what I'm saying.
No, yeah.
What I am saying though is I do think that does not mean that Serena's going to not put her best foot forward, so to speak.
Damn. My mind is blown, bro. I just love these characters so much. And what TK said earlier, this character development in this show is spectacular. Spectacular. Yeah. And it's not just Yuka now, right?
And it's not.
And I love the fact that people are just trying to like make sure she's okay. And it's so much. It's just a better for me to you. Like this whole series is just a better for me to you. And what I mean by better, I'm not saying like completely better, because for me to you is a full series and a full relationships and full everything is wrapped up nicely and for me to you. But it also is a lot of fucking just miscommunication mistakes that constantly repeat and from me to you. And this, I don't see it's happening as much because there is some form of communication more so that is realistic in a sense, right? Like the inward thoughts of Yuka is understandable compared to the inner thoughts of what what's her name from me to you was Sawako's. Like Sawako was just like if you don't say anything, nothing's gonna change. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy. Like it's crazy. Crystal says, but Serena says she wouldn't join him during the fair because she knew that. No, Kai. Yeah, you knew that Kai liked Yuka. Right, but what we're referring to is what TK said. TK said that this is the first time that Blondie actually cared about a girl, which isn't true. Which when Tail called Cap on that, I'm like, huh? And you said, huh? It's because it was Cap. He did like Serena because during that flashback scene, he kissed Serena when he first saved her on the school rooftop or whatever, or the second time he saved her, or whatever it was, on the school rooftop. And then that's how they got together. So he has cared about her before. Now that Serena knows that Blondie like Yuka, though, I still think she's still gonna try to express her love.
Yeah, and I'm not like I said, I'm not saying that she's going to be malicious with it or anything like that, but I do think that means that she's not going to be she's not going to find a need to hold back since it's already out there. Yeah,
now they open with their feelings, which is very adult for them to do as children. Oh, okay. Crystal saying, I'm saying that maybe she won't try. Maybe.
Yeah.
So I see what she's saying. So she's saying that she won't try to pursue Kai because of the whole festival thing. But that was only because she was tiptoeing around Yuka's feelings, though.
Right.
Now she doesn't have to.
After she said, I'm not tiptoeing around your feelings anymore, that's different.
Yeah, because now she's going to openly invite him to stuff or try to engage, try to win him back probably, which I don't think is possible. I don't think either. Yeah. All of us don't think it's possible.
Yeah, I don't see that. I feel like Yuka is the winner already with valid reasoning.
Yeah.
And if he's just like toying her along, pulling her along, and she does not win in the end, he's a horrible character.
That's terrible. It's terrible character writing. Oh, what a failure that would be. TK does another says that definitely changes the whole dynamic. It hinges on Blondie manning up and making a decision. Pick one, even at the risk of hurting the other. Not being able to fix the rejected one. And not being able to fix the rejected one. What a bar.
Yeah.
Oh. Did the girls talk? No, that was at the very, very end, Crystal. Crystal says, did the girls talk after they said that? After she said that? No. So at the very end was the festival, and that's when she mentioned, like, I'm not going to tiptoe around your feelings anymore. And that was pretty much the end of the episode.
Because after Yuka talked to Miura, shake free from me if you really don't want to hold my hand and everything like that, she ran to
back.
Miura and told her, I'm sorry I lied to you. Yeah, she ran back to Serena and said, I'm sorry I lied to you. I do love Miura. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry I lied to you as well about my feelings. And since you put it out there, I'm no longer going to tiptoe around your feelings. Is what she said. And they were smiling, all teary-eyed and blushing and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. What a great show, though.
And that was the last few minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What a great show. Blow me back. Blow me back. Gosh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Okay. All right. Moving on to last, but certainly not least. I definitely got to look this one because I don't know how to spell apothecary.
APOTHECARY.
So it's exactly how it sounds. Got it. Thanks, Still, for embarrassing me in front of all my friends.
Apo the carry. You know what I mean? I carry a po with me.
Is it apothecaries or apothecary? Oh, almost forgot the E. All right. So, Tell, what did you think about episode 7 of Apothecary Diaries?
This show does something every single episode so well, and that is everything.
Apothecary Diaries can stand on, each episode can be a 10 out of 10 episode by itself. Like everything that we talked about in our review scale, it could be that by itself.
Yeah.
So like I'm captivated with, for one, you know what? This is a perfect time to bring in what Dad Needs to Talk said, because Dad Needs to Talk said something brilliant about this episode. He said, something I love about this show is, sorry, I don't have my glasses on. It's really hard to read. Something I love about this show is how much there is to explore in the inner palace. Physically on the map, it might be small, but we are discovering new pockets that Mao Mao hasn't seen yet. Natural progression and world building. That is what makes Apothecary Diaries so special.
But here's the thing, is that the world building, so to speak, yes, they have the world building, but what makes that world building so cool is that we already have an established world to dive into. It's just taking what is real life and making these like what we did in this episode with the doors, right? It's making these like real life puzzles into a thing, and showing you how this could be something that progresses into the future. And then you had the whole like matrilineal lineage being done here, with how they're overtaking and reclaiming the lineage here, and even defining how these conditions, visual conditions and eyesight and whatnot, defines how these people are just slightly different, but it improves and impairs them in certain scenarios. Apothecary Diaries is, and this is just to think about, this is something that's just woven in between the major context of the story. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is just an episode woven in, but it's so good. And then she's like with the Emperor directly. It's the puzzles that they give us in the episode that is hard for us to figure out without context, but Mao Mao is able to kind of like, she's able to look at it, digest it, and she gives it to us in a way that is just expertly told.
Yeah. I was thinking to myself, I'm like I said, it can stand on its own as a 10 out of 10 episode. If you've never seen an episode of Apothecary Diaries, you can turn on this episode, watch him like, damn, that was a good episode of a show. Even though you don't have the overall context, just the fact that it has this contained story within this episode that was so brilliantly told within this 25 minutes, technically 21 minutes after intro, outro, and et cetera, et cetera. It's so brilliant. It's so brilliant. And like you talked about with the overarching story, this is interwoven within the overarching story, but it has a major piece within this particular episode that hints at her figuring out what Master Jin Shi is, and it is crazy the fact that it's all coming together. And I think if she put her effort in, which I think she intentionally doesn't want to, she could figure it out. She could know who he is and why he is relatively quickly if she wanted to figure it out, but clearly she doesn't. TK Does Nothing he says two things. He says, I originally wasn't going to pick up Apothecary Diaries. I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad you did too. Holy shit, would have been a big miss if you didn't. Shout out to Crystal for getting us to pick this up. Basically, she's the reason why we both started watching it and never looked back. How the OG queen and her descendants used to have an eye disorder, which is color blindness, by the way, eye disorder, to keep the family in power is such an amazing idea. It is. It's red blue color blindness, and it was genius. It's genius. I didn't know it was hereditary though. That's one thing that I thought was like, are they reaching with that? Like, is that a real thing? I didn't look it up. I'm not that invested, but
and it's specifically, I think, if I'm not mistaken, passed down by the woman's genes, which is fire.
Interesting. Yeah. Which is, I don't know if that's true. Again, it could be some liberties taken with that. So don't will actually us with some scientific bullshit that we don't really care about. But it's a brilliant idea of keeping the family line going. It is hereditary. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah. Is it matrilineal or patrilineal, or can it be either or? Because I thought it was matrilineal.
That's interesting. What an interesting concept, though. What an interesting concept to bring into a show. With these, you know what? Oh my God. And hear me out. This is probably why I was ready to spaz on My Happy Marriage, because again, it makes me think about what this show could be, what My Happy Marriage could be. It could be another Apothecary Diaries if they didn't have to go through all this supernatural bullshit. Because look how naturally Apothecary Diaries is just bringing up real world incidents into this interwoven story of eventually what seems to become a romance, because we know Jinshi, even if he don't realize it, is crushing on Mao Mao, and Mao Mao won't nothing to do with him. But it's an interesting dynamic between these characters that just is so free flowing and fun and interesting and enjoyable. I think seeing him focus like that is what sparked her thinking that this is something bigger than just them spending time with the Emperor's favorite Anarch, and this is bigger. This is like like a big deal.
Yeah.
I love how she also, how the dude that walked him through that mentioned her father or her adoptive father, and how he was like, oh, he could have figured it out. And that got her interested. That is what set this whole thing ablaze, if you will, for lack of a better word. Shout out to Rengoku. That set the whole thing ablaze for her to figure out that it was a hereditary or an illness thing that caused it to be solved, essentially. Because if it wasn't for that hint, I don't think she would have figured it out, as she said in the show.
Right. Yeah, actually, I just looked it up, by the way, TK. I believe the mother can carry it twice because it's linked to X chromosome, so she can be twice as likely to pass it down. But because the father or males only have one X chromosome, they're twice as likely to be affected by it.
That's interesting. And Crystal says, "Oh, they will end up together." That's my delusional take. Jinshi is down bad for her.
It is though, and I hope they end up together too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I don't even think he realized that that's what he's feeling, right? Like because to him it's just like, all these girls always fawn over me. So it's like I don't know. One. Yeah, I don't know what it feels like to know what this really is, but I think he now knows.
I mean, he also doesn't have.
He does. They never turn him into a proper. They mentioned that in season 1. Never turned him into a proper Enoch.
Oh, I do remember that. I remember that.
Yeah. He's just pretending to be one in his current situation. But yeah, it's cool, man. It's so cool to see these characters play out. All right, gut checks for everybody. What's next? We could never gut check this show, but
I'm gonna say the same thing that I always say. I can see this specific moment playing into context for future episodes. And I say that because it's going to, and I feel like it happens constantly with the idea that, and it might not be specifically this, right, where it's the red green color blindness, or red blue color blindness, but it may be the aspect that some visual impairment, how they see throughout the night, even, because that was like the least mentioned part, that she could see better at night than others. That may be a component where they're saying who's out at night doing something that is, hindering the palace or whatever. So that could be a scenario, but yeah, I'm thinking it might end up being something more along those lines. But I do think that. So we got rid of the first idea of who could be trying to hinder a child being born. I'm not exactly sure, because I do think we still have, what's her name? The one girl who was at the market, the young one. I feel like we still have more to come with her, and I feel like they keep purposely pushing her to the background.
Yeah, like they would insert her
from us.
here and then push her to the side. Yeah, that was strange. That was very particular with how they're inserting her and taking her out all at once. She has to have a bigger role in this that we don't quite know yet.
Right.
TK does nothing says, I love Jinshi's response to the emperor considering Mao Mao as a consort. He says, hey. Oh, Jinshi's like, hey, no, that's not.
Hey.
And Kendrick's voice. No, for real though.
Hey now, say now.
Unintentionally, he laid claim to her. It reminds me of that episode with the cat.
Yeah.
A prince still needs to be born. One of the two concubines got to have a son. So what?
Yeah.
But what does that do to the situation, right? Because we know that the emperor right now is. We know, the viewer I think knows that Jinshi is the brother to the emperor. What does that do if one of the concubines have a son?
I mean, it essentially establishes the heir regardless, right? Because Jinshi supposedly being a eunuch who cannot reproduce. The only way that another heir could happen is, let's say, for instance, his loins being swollen for Mao Mao if he get Mao Mao pregnant, which I don't necessarily foresee.
No, but what I'm asking is like does that change the entirety of what is going on in the background? Because the background is somebody's trying to kill Jinshi, right? Like we know that. We all are aware that Jinshi is the one that they're trying to get rid of, right? From season 1.
Yeah, he's at risk, but that's why if you keep Jinshi at risk, I think of it like what happened in the Yatagarasu, right? They're keeping another person who is heir to the throne as a background in case something happens. So there's always somebody there, right? Mm-hmm. But if they get rid of Jinshi and then also prevent a son being born, all they gotta do is take out the emperor now.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they were trying to stop the concubines' pregnancies from being. Yeah, I forgot all about the oils and everything they're trying to do to cause the abortions to all the other concubines. That's interesting. So they're just trying to remove this entire lineage, essentially.
Yeah, isolate the emperor. That's the goal. Isolate the emperor.
Yep. Damn. Crazy, man. Crazy. Yeah, TK does nothing. Said it moves Jinshi down to the third. Yeah. Damn. I don't know, man. This is one of the ones where it's hard to predict. Some shows, especially when it's leaning more towards slice of life, I can predict. I can like aim. I can see where it's going. I cannot figure this one out. I can't figure it out.
One, brother.
It's impossible. It's almost impossible. All right, guys. It's that time. Man, I love this show. I swear, Crystal.
We love this show.
We all love this show. All right, it's that time. Make sure you guys subscribe to the youtube.com/MikeCheckWaifu. And as always, I'm at Polo Bornfly on all social media.
I'm at King Teliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at MikeCheckWaifu and at MikeCheckWaifu on Blue Sky. And as always, Mike Check. See y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. If y'all still here, we love you. Peace.